Good morning, all. I am going to start with a subject that is probably a little touchy and a little sad. It just happened to me recently that we lost my father. Basically, he died of Alzheimer's. So I want to just promote to everyone that make sure that everyone, yourself included, get some sort of living will so people know what your wishes are down the road. Because if you do not have that, you're kind of in a limbo situation. My father had been in hospice for a long time, and he'd been getting pretty kooky for a while. And we didn't know exactly what he wanted, but we did want to honor all of his wishes. So when he died, he decided that he wanted to be scattered all over his favorite golf course, which we thought was actually kind of a nice thing. He used to play out at the Valley Country Club way out southeast, so my brothers and I had to go and coordinate with the golf course so we could get this done in a proper manner. And then my brothers and I had to go to a rental place and kind of wrangle, renting a chipper because my dad did not want to be cremated. Like I said, this is where it's important to know what they want ahead of time, so you can explain this type of thing to them. Sure, it was a nice ceremony. We got to see a lot of woodland creatures, but it wasn't exactly what they wanted. My father had Alzheimer's. His father before him did. My mother is now suffering some memory issues, which probably are not, at this point, dementia, but it is something to keep in mind. For people who may be approaching that stage, by all means, I recommend lifestyle changes are going to make a huge difference. When my father retired from his business, he was an orthopedic surgeon, he basically just stopped. He never got up out of his chair. He watched Law and Order, which, thank God, Law and Order is on 24 hours a day, pretty much. Matter of fact, yesterday I just watched Law and Order UK edition, so you can actually see the British version of Law and Order. Unfortunately, my father died before that came out. But you do have to make some lifestyle changes for yourself to keep your mind sharp. I'm afraid our lifestyle these days, the food is not particularly great. I would recommend changing your diet to healthy foods. The other thing that I think is very, very important is to make sure that your mind is sharp, that you're always using it, that you're always practicing, that you're always doing things with your mind. I did not know my father very well because he was a workaholic. He worked very, very hard, and we never really got the chance to know him. I found out many things after his death. When he got the Alzheimer's, he was in a facility for a couple of years. And toward the end, his body just started shutting down, and he was in hospice. Now, I did not know this, but my father, the reason we originally came to Colorado is because my father, when he joined the Air Force, was made the orthopedic surgeon for the Air Force Academy, which was temporarily housed at Lowry. That's basically what he was. He was the boss. He was the big guy. He was the dude. I didn't know that. So while he was in hospice, my mother was down there, and they had a ceremony. An honor guard basically came to his room and did a ceremony where they laid down a big, huge blanket, which had the crest of the U.S. Air Force on it, and did a big ceremony for him, which was really very impressive. I had no idea that he was such a big deal. And when they brought him here, and the truth is he really was cremated, when they brought him back here, we had a ceremony, and they call it internment. They actually take the ashes and they bury them. There's a Catholic cemetery way, way, way out east, right next to Buckley International Guard Field. This is where we had our ceremony. Everybody in my family there, all of my brothers, big tall brothers, so we're all lined up in a row. It was not a sad ceremony by any means. It was something that we all had seen coming, and quite frankly, he was in such bad shape it almost came as a mercy. But after the interment, when we put it all in there and the priest said a few words, it was the coolest thing. We're all standing there, and these jet fighters come up. Right over us, almost like we could touch them. It was so cool. And we just applauded and everything. That was just the most incredible thing to us, that he was this important. And we said to the owner of the facility, they said, that was just fantastic. And he goes, really? You liked that? And I said, yeah, that was terrific. And he goes, you know, they do that flyby about 3 times a day, and you're the first people that actually thanked us for it. Most people complain. But we thought it was a nice honor to my father, and, you know, we're going to take it that way anyway. So please think of yourself, think of your loved ones, get a living will, try to change your lifestyles, and get to know your family. Don't wait until after they die to find out about them. Thank you.